G'day, I'm Nick.
And I'm Mark.
Welcome to Beer O'Clock. We've got a first question for ourselves. Why do people use Google?
It's a good question.
Yeah.
I guess if you look back at how people used to use the internet, finding things was always a bit of a problem. Like the internet became very big.
It's pretty big.
But then people invented, search engines were invented to try and index and take people to content.
What was the name? What was that? What was the name of that one? Jeeves. Ask Jeeves.
Yeah, and Yahoo used to be more of a search engine, but then became more of a directory. But the reason why people use Google is for the results. Like, it gives them what they expect. So
it's that presence of relevancy.
Yeah, it's when I type in a search and it gives me the results I want, I'm going to keep using that search engine.
Yep.
So Google's whole end game was to try and find a way to work out from what people were searching for what they were looking for, and do that more accurately. And it used to be the only signals a search engine had was the content of the web page itself. Google's breakthrough, the reason why they really exist as a company today, was the concept that the links from other websites would tell you about the content of that website. So it was other people's websites vouching for your site and what it was about.
So we could say that was more like a referral system, yeah. Like, so it's kind of how that translates well into the physical world.
Yeah.
If
a lot of people talk about you sell chainsaws,
yeah,
you know,
they're the guys to go and see.
They're the guys to go and see.
Yeah, yeah.
So the more people who are talking about those are the chainsaw guys,
yeah,
the more likely it is that they're the right people to go to. They're the people you're going to find, yeah, if you're asking people about it.
So what we talk about when we define that presence of relevancy is referrals, and that's a big part of it. So how do you reckon, how do we get more referrals?
There's a few things you can do. I mean, social media is a good one because it's fairly easy to get linked to on social media. You can publish your own links, publish your own pages, but they tend to be lower quality because of the volume of it.
Yeah.
There's a few other things that go into how Google will calculate how relevant a page is, but essentially the authority of the domain that is doing the referral. So Wikipedia is a really good one to get on because it's considered to be higher quality than some random blog that someone's put together about their own stuff. So, you know, relevancy depends a bit on who's referring you.
Yeah.
And Google also uses signals like if the text of the link says something in particular, then that boosts you for those words, those keywords.
Yeah, exactly. Just interrupting you quickly because you're going on down a really good line. So, you know, why it works well, when doesn't it work well? And I guess that's more like a case of if someone's going to, you know, we think or we focus on, and when search engine optimization, how do we get onto that? But when it can go wrong, I guess, is if you're searching for referrals in the wrong places. So, and that's link farming or...
Yeah, Google does have some idea of, you know, essentially paid spammy link farms, and you get penalised for referrals from there. Their domain authority is so low as to be negative.
Yeah.
So it's the opposite to Wikipedia, or, you know, like, and government domains tend to be pretty authoritative because they're a bit harder to get onto.
Yep.
Anything that takes more effort or carries more weight, and it's things like that would carry weight in the offline world as well. Like, you know, like if something's been recommended to you by a well-known and trusted source, it's more likely to be the thing that you're after.
Yeah.
So in terms of how that translates to your website, we do need to try and get relevant links to your website, and that can be through like industry directories,
affiliates.
It can also be things like if you've got a press release that comes out to a well trusted news site.
Yeah.
If you get a government grant, then you want them to talk about your site as part of their press release on it.
Yep.
There's a few other things you can do, but aside from that, you've got the content of the site itself. Google does still take that into account.
Yeah.
And so that's really the key thing, is if your site isn't what Google thinks is relevant to a search, you're not going to turn up. Google's whole business is about doing that well. People use Google because it does it well. People would use another search engine if it gave them better results. But the results are, like, so it kind of feeds on itself. Like the more relevant your site is to the end user, the better Google is at connecting you together, the more that cycle sort of completes.
Feeds itself, yeah. It's a nice model.
It means that Google's interest in providing good search results are aligned with the customer.
Yeah.
And of course, your interests as a service provider should be aligned with your customer as well.
And making billions.
Well, that's why you've got to be aligned.
It's
with
the
your
end game.
customer, you know?
It's the end game.
Yeah.
One thing that fascinates me, and we do use it a lot in when explaining to people generally the cost of looking at a cost of a website, or it's not so much what the user's experiencing in terms of, well, it is in a sense, I guess, aesthetically, or it's what sits behind a service that really gives it the grunt. So you imagine Google, and on face value, it's a search bar and a logo.
So I can see someone coming to you and with a request. I want to put a web form up, and you say, well, how many fields does it have on it? 1? How many buttons does it have? 2? And then, that sounds really simple and straightforward.
Yeah, it's easy. Yeah,
but
$500.
But the problem is that it's the smarts of taking that simple input and being able to correlate that with information from across the whole internet. That's
whoa.
Yeah.
It's pretty sophisticated.
Yeah.
So what could we summarise? Like why people use Google? Why people use Google?
Because it's good at understanding which results are relevant to their search.
Boom.